Hi, welcome to Empty Nest Creation. Our project today is this Scrabble Tile Word Collage. I've made several of these in the past. I made one for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary and used family names and words like marriage and love and 50th. This one is actually going to be for my office at work. I work for a nonprofit. And all of these words are words that are come directly from our mission statement. And so we'll display this in our office and it will remind all of us each day of what our mission is to help keep us focused on that mission. So if you're interested in seeing how we make this, stick around. We'll go over the supplies and then we'll get started. Okay, so for this word collage, you're going to need a frame. And I picked up this wood frame at Goodwill for 50 cents. So I've taken the picture and the glass out. We're just going to use the frame and the cardboard insert. You're going to need some burlap and some Scrabble tiles. And I ordered these off of Amazon and have done several projects with this already. So it came with several sets of tiles. So I've actually made 2 projects already. This will be the 3rd one. You'll need some glue. And I'm just going to use this Fix-All adhesive from Dollar Tree. A screwdriver, and this is just to reattach the cardboard to the frame. We'll also need some paint. I'm going to kind of age the frame a little bit, so I'm going to dry brush the frame, paintbrush, and then I just have a plate to put the paint on. And so these are the Scrabble tiles that I'm going to be using, and we'll talk about the words that I'll be using in just a minute. So we'll slide these out of the way. And then we'll just get started kind of aging the frame a little bit with some dry brush. This is just regular acrylic craft paint. This is apple barrel white. And I'm just going to start with the white first. I may use some of the brown. I'm not sure. And I'm just going to dry brush this onto the frame. So I'm putting a little bit on my brush and dabbing it off. And then I'm just going to start adding it to the frame. Okay, so I've started dry brushing the frame, and I'm just adding a little bit of white, and I'll just keep working on this until I get it to look a little aged, a little more worn than it was looking before. I don't want to paint it completely white because this is going to go in our office at work, and our walls are a little off-white. And so I think if it's too white, it'll just blend in too much. So we're going to keep doing this, adding a little dry brushing until I get it the way I want it to look. And once I get that done, then we'll come back together and I'll show you how to put the rest of this together. Okay, so here's our frame, all dry brushed. And I just went all the way around. And where I put extra paint on, like right here, I just used my finger to rub it in so that it wasn't really, really bright white. So it looks kind of worn. And so that's the kind of look I was going for. So I'm going to set this aside. And what we're going to do now is cover our cardboard with a piece of burlap. And so this was actually just a piece of a burlap table runner. That I've used for several different projects. It comes in a roll like this. I got this at Walmart, and I think I've used this now for about 5 different projects, and still have a good bit left for other projects. So because this is brown cardboard, we don't have to really do anything else, but if you had a white piece of board or something that was a different color, you would want to probably cover it with brown paper or paint it brown so that once you've put the burlap on, that you don't see another color coming through. And so what we're going to do is just lay this down. And I'm going to use just this clear packing tape to attach the burlap to this cardboard. And I'm just going to pull it over and then use the tape and tape it down. And I'm just going to start with some small pieces. Just tape it to the board. And this doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be on the back. You could also use hot glue to do this, but I just didn't want to pull out my hot glue gun for this. So we're just going to go around with the tape. And once you get this back in the frame, it'll hold really well. You won't have to worry about it. Okay, so for the corners, I'm going to pull it in and then fold it over to make that corner really tight. And we'll do the same with this corner. Pull it in and then pull it down. Okay, that needs to tape folded over on itself. Okay, we'll do the same thing with this side. Pull that corner in. Let me show you what I'm doing. I'm going to pull it in like this. And then just kind of fold it over, kind of like you're doing a gift or a package, okay? Gift wrap. And then use a piece of tape to hold that down. And then do the same thing to this other corner. Pull the corner in, fold that piece in, and fold it down. And then we're going to tape that down. Okay. And then use another piece to pull this center down tight. And then we're going to go all the way across. Okay, so this is what we have now. It's nice and covered. And so we can place this back inside of our frame. Okay, so we're just going to fold all these tabs back so that we can get it in. And the burlap may make it fit a little snug, so you just want to work it until you get it in. Okay. Now that's all the way in, and we'll just use your screwdriver and push those tabs back down. Okay, if you want to, you can add some more tape now. Just make sure that this holds really well. Okay, so that's what the back looks like. And now this is what the front looks like. Okay, so now we're going to begin to lay out our tiles. So let me get these all organized. And then we'll talk about the words that I chose and why I chose them. And so the words that I chose were sunshine. First, our name is Family Sunshine Center. So sunshine is in there. And then I have safe haven. And I used a blank tile for the space between safe and haven. Advocacy, I have hope and healing, educate, and empower. And so what I'm going to do is transfer these over to the board and lay them out how I want them, and then we will start gluing them. So I'm just going to start moving them and figuring out kind of how I want it spaced out on here to take up the most space. These are really fun to put together. And you can, just let your imagination go wild. You can personalize it for different people in your life. Like I said, I made that one from my parents, and that was several years ago, and they still have it displayed in their home. It has all the children's names and their names, and I think it says 50 on there because it was for their 50th anniversary. So it was a lot of fun. And of course, if you don't like the burlap look, you can use any other background that you want. Okay, let's see. Make sure you spell your words right. And of course, I'm laying these out just like it were a Scrabble game. So you could definitely do this with an old Scrabble board and lay your words out and then frame that. I think that would look really cute. Or you can just use the tiles and lay your words out in any order you want. You don't have to do it like a Scrabble game. Okay, so this is kind of how it's going to look. And for my parents' one, I put a little burlap flower in the bottom. But for this one, I think I'm just going to leave it with just the words on it. And like I said earlier, we're going to use this glue to glue it down. The one that I made that said Amazing Grace, I glued it onto wood, and I just used hot glue. And after a while, the letters started to fall off. And so I've had to glue them back on with some super glue or E6000. This glue I've used before, and it works really, really well. It holds for forever. So, and it's just from the Dollar Tree. It's a super glue that they sell. And so what I'm going to do is kind of look at my words, make sure they're spelled correctly before I start gluing them down. And then as I glue, I'm just going to make sure that that they're all in line. Okay. So I think everything looks good. Advocacy, safe haven, hope, sunshine, healing, educate, and empower. And these are the words that we use every day in our work. Everyone who works for the Family Sunshine Center is an advocate. And so this is a big part of what we do every day. And so that one's important. We are a safe haven, and I think that's an important word as well. So you just want to start gluing your letters down, and you want to make sure that you're getting them nice and straight. So it helps to stand up and kind of look down on your project to make sure that your letters are nice and straight with the top of the frame. Of course, if you're using a game board, you would have the squares already in there, so it would make it easier. And you want to make sure you're putting enough glue on the bottom that it holds, but I don't really want it to ooze out. And I'm just going to butt these up next to each other. And the good thing about using this glue is you do have a little time to play with it and make sure that they're lined up nice and neat. Okay, so I have those first two lined up, and then I think that I can line everything up now off of those two. Just making sure that they butt up next to it. So I'll work one word at a time, and I'm just adding some glue to the back of the letter and then laying it in place. And there's enough glue that it'll go through the burlap and attach to the cardboard. And it'll look really nice. Okay, so I'm going to continue to glue these on, checking periodically to just make sure that everything is nice and straight and even. And then once I get everything on and it's dry, I'll come back and show you the finished product. Okay, so now I have everything glued on, and everything is like I like it. And the reason that I use this glue as opposed to hot glue is because it does give you time to adjust, move things around if they're not straight, but it does take longer to dry. So what I'm going to do now is, now that I have everything how I want it, I'm going to take these heavy books and lay them on top, making sure that they are covering all of the tiles. And I'm just going to stack two of them on here. And I'm just going to let this sit for about 30 minutes to an hour. That should give it plenty of time to set up. And then once that's dried, I'll come back and show you the finished product. Okay, so here's the completed project. I left it laying with the books on it for about an hour. So everything is pretty much dry. I'm going to continue to let it cure overnight before taking it to work and displaying it on the wall. I will put a mounting bracket on the back to hang it on the wall, but you could always display it on a stand like this one. Either way, whatever works best for you. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this project, and if you've tried something similar, I'd love to see pictures. Remember to give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Also subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers before our 1-year anniversary, which is coming up in March. Remember to click the bell that will notify you when we have videos uploaded in the future. All right, thank you, and I'll see you next time.